Grizzly bears are one of the most powerful animals on Earth. They are also one of the most misunderstood. Join us in Knight Inlet in the heart of British Columbia's grizzly country as we go in search of this magnificent animal and make our own adventure on Trailside.
Trailside is brought to you by Chevy Avalanche, encouraging you to find your own little part of the planet.
The northern and southern borders along the west coastline of British Columbia are only about 600 miles apart. In that space, the coastline snakes through 13,000 miles of inlets, bays, and fjords. These geographic intricacies provide an astounding array of wildlife habitats, perhaps best illustrated by Glendale Cove in Knight Inlet. This area has the highest concentration of grizzly bears in British Columbia, providing us an outstanding opportunity to see them firsthand in their own environment. I traveled by float plane from Campbell River to Knight Inlet and met up with Peter Swain. Peter's a natural history guide and general manager of Knight Inlet Lodge, the only lodge devoted to grizzly bear watching in Canada and the only lodge in Knight Inlet, period. From the beginning, I felt this was going to be a dream trip into the great northern backcountry.
You must be Brian.
Yeah. Peter?
Indeed. Welcome to Knight Inlet Lodge.
Thanks.
How was your flight?
Oh, it's good. Gorgeous area. Just dense forest and open water. It's beautiful.
Perfect grizzly country.
Let's go find them.
Well, let's get you settled in first. We'll get you out to your room, and then you can maybe change into some hiking clothes,
okay,
and we can go and check your personal gear out, and we'll head out and find some bears.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Brian.
Hey. Thanks, Peter. You know, everywhere I look, this place is just so gorgeous.
Not a bad spot.
Not at all. Where are we going today?
Yeah, I wanted to show you that. Have a look. Let's grab this side.
All right.
This is where we are, right in Glendale Cove.
Okay.
Lodge is tucked into the corner here. All this area out here, that's what you see, that expanse of water. That's all part of Knight Inlet. Classic fjordland. It's gouged out by a glacier. It's about 60 miles long, 110 kilometers long, 1,500 to 2,000 feet deep.
Wow.
Useless for a bear.
Oh, yeah?
Bad bear habitat. What we have out here, though, where it's nice and shallow, there's some terrific grizzly bear habitat right in Glendale Cove.
Oh, good.
So what we're going to do is get from this side on the other side, and we're going to either use our little green skiffs or we're going to use a sea kayak. And
okay.
We're going to paddle out over there. And we're going to start the day. I'm going to take you along the edge of the estuary along some bear trails here.
Okay.
The kinds of things we have out here are unlike anything I've ever seen before. I've spent 10 years in the Rockies looking for different kinds of bear sign. What we have here goes beyond anything I've seen. 2 years worth of trails that have rub trees, track trails.
Right.
I'm going to teach you how to recognize. When you leave today, you're going to be able to recognize grizzly sign. And not just scat and tracks, but rub trees and special bear trails. And there's such a concentration of stuff here, it's unbelievable. After that, later on this afternoon, we're going to hop up top of this little point. We're going to go up a trail here and to see where a bear starts and finishes its season.
Any black bears up there?
We have black bears in the area, but grizzly bears like black bears for lunch. So we don't see them very often. They're scared out of the area. We have so many grizzly bears here. So what we will do tomorrow is head down to the back of the estuary, and that's where hopefully we're going to spot some grizzly bears. I know at this time of year we have a few hanging out.
Sounds terrific.
Before we do that, I want to have a look at all the equipment, show you some special stuff that we bring with us when we're in bear country.
Okay.
Let's go do that now. Whenever we head outside, got to think of three things. In this order: shelter, water, and food.
Okay.
So for us, our shelter is sun hat, raincoat, rain pants, and a sweater just for the weather.
Okay.
Bottles of water, always important to keep yourself hydrated. Food to keep the energy level up. Those are the essentials. Other stuff we always bring with us is first aid kit, sunscreen, bug juice, and a little flashlight for poking our heads in the holes and seeing what's around.
Okay, I got just about all that in my pack.
Great. The other thing I find really handy to spot bears is using binoculars. We spot them on the shoreline, and then we get a little closer. Always have the camera to record the moment. Big lens is how we get close to bears.
Okay.
Safest way to do it. So.
Okay. Brought my camera and a big lens, so good.
Great. My pack.
Okay.
Other stuff is what I call my bear belt. Always have my radio along with me. Radio keeps me in contact with the lodge, and also we have other guides who are out there on the water, so they're able to spot bears, and when they do, they let everybody know.
Good.
Always carry the bear spray. This is a deterrent. I'm going to show you how this works when we get out there.
All right.
Always carry a knife as well. Map and compass, it's a rainforest, it's quite thick, hard to find your way around, just in case you get lost or before you get lost. We use map and compass to get our way out. Anytime we're on the water, we have our life jackets on.
Okay.
And skiffs or sea kayaks, we use these, and our spray skirts for the sea kayaks. What I'm thinking though this afternoon is forecasted to get a little windier, so it's probably going to be more effective for us to take the skiff out rather than the kayaks. We'll get there faster and we'll see more things.
Okay. I'll grab my pack and meet you in the skiff.
Great.
You sure called it on this weather. That wind came up fast.
Yeah, that's the Pacific Mountains for you.
Yeah.
It really blows up quickly. Before we head any further, just wanted to talk a little bit about bear safety.
Okay.
So we're getting into an area that has lots of grizzly bears. In about a 4 square mile area, we've got about 20.
Okay.
So the big thing bears don't want is to be surprised. It's anytime you go in bear country and you're hiking along, you want to let bears know you're coming. We do that by what we call a bear call. Everyone's got their own little call, depending on what their voice is like. Okay. Mine sounds something like this. Hello! Yeah, I know, it's kind of silly, but... Hello! Hear how that carried? Mm-hmm. Any bear within 200-300 meters is going to know that we're here.
Okay.
As we're hiking along, the bear's just going to think he'll stay in the bushes, let us pass by, and come on out when he wants to after we've gone by. They don't want to encounter people, so it works really well. If we do run into a bear, what we'll do is, if I haven't seen it yet, just let me know, and I want you to just grab a hold of me on my shirt and say, Peter, there's a bear there.
Okay.
I'll do the same with you, and just say, Brian, there's a bear there. We're not going to do anything initially. I'll assess the situation. The bear is probably going to move out of as soon as he sees us. If he hasn't seen us, we're going to back away and move ourselves out of the situation.
Okay.
But it won't be a problem. Bears are very used to us around here. So, that sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right, let's go.
You first.
Hello. 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 Hello.
This is quite some trail you've got here, Peter.
Like it?
Yeah.
It's actually an old logging road. They cut this area in 83, 84. Mm-hmm. Since then, it's been inactive. Mm-hmm. Looks like you're not the only one who likes the trail. Have a peek at this.
What do we got here?
Well, it looks like bear scat. Now, judging from the size of it, I'd say this is probably grizzly bear because it's pretty big.
Yeah?
And probably a pretty big grizzly bear, too.
Wow.
Yeah, have a... Now, the key to understanding bears is to understand what they're eating. What I like to do is scat is pick it apart a little bit. I'm opening this one up. You see how it's all dry and grassy in here? This is probably sedge grass. Right around the shore's edge, you see all the green grass. That's mainly a spring food for the bears. Mm-hmm. That tells me that this scat's a little bit older. It's probably from the springtime.
Nice to know the bear's getting its spring fiber.
That's right. Fiber is very important for everybody. Right now, they're after berries. Yeah. Not a lot of fiber in berries, but it's berry season, so if we were to find some newer scat with berries in it, that would indicate it's a fairly recent poo. Up ahead, we have some other areas where we might have a lot more berries, so we'll probably find some bear scat.
Let's go take a look.
Okay. Now this is some good berry scat.
Wow.
Yeah, this is classic bear scat with berries in it. Mm-hmm. You could tell, remember the last one where I was able to tell roughly how big the bear was?
Yeah.
This one I really don't have a clue. It's all pudding-like, so it's really hard to gauge the size of the bear. I do know it's more recent because berries are ripe right now. That's what they're eating.
Yeah, look, there's a bunch of them over there.
Yep, that's exactly the stuff. That's probably it. Salmonberry.
Now, how does a bear eat the berries? I mean, they don't strip the vine, I see that, but how do they eat it?
It's funny to watch them. They're a little clumsy at it. They come at it with a nice big paw and will paw towards them. And really what they're after is just the berry. And they'll go and paw it in, and eat their berry, just like that.
You do that well.
Thank you. Yeah, and they taste really well too. But they're really just after the berry because they have a simple digestive system, and the key to understanding bears, again, it's understanding what they're eating and when they're eating it.
Okay.
So they can't afford to eat all the leaves and all the rest because they can't digest that. They have to just get the really high quality stuff.
I see.
Now, scat is the easiest stuff for us to find around. It's some of the most obvious signs of bears. What we're going to try and do now is head off the trail and see some of the more subtle signs of bears around.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Come have a look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't look like much. What do you think?
Looks like a tree that's seen better days.
Yeah, this is something you don't find every day. This is what we call a rub tree or a scratch tree. Bears are rubbing up and scratching it, leaving their scent behind. Same way you and I use our sense of vision, a bear uses their sense of smell. So a rub tree is something a bear uses to rub up against, leave their scent behind, and it lets the other bears know that they're in the area. So this is a bear's version of a blinking neon light. It lets them all know that, come and smell me. And so a bear will come up and know who's here.
Oh, yeah.
So what they end up doing is they'll rub themselves up, and you can see they leave a lot of their hair behind because of all the sap that's running down here. You can see all, this is all grizzly fur. They reach up and they scratch it as hard as they can. It's kind of an aggressive thing that they end up doing. Yeah, it's a pretty big bear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good scratch through there.
Yeah. How old is this?
The tree's probably 70 or 80 years old. Bears have been using it for dozens of years. You can tell by all the different ages of scratches. There's some new stuff and old stuff. But they use new trees every year. This spring, they started using one that's just over here.
Oh, okay. You know, I would have walked right by that and never even given it a second look.
Even more so than this one. Look at this. You know, it's really subtle, but you can see nice smooth lines here where it's smoothed it off. It's still scratching it. Just started new on that. That's a pretty obvious scratch mark, isn't it? And the other thing they do, just show you here, when they go up and rub themselves, they rub up and down on it, reach their head back, and they'll bite it.
That's a bite mark?
That's a bite mark up there. So my fingers are the canines, they're snapping together here. I'm 6 feet tall, so this is probably a 7-foot tall bear when it's standing up. That's a big, big bear.
Let's try not to run into him.
We'll do our best.
Okay. Here you go.
Stop here for a second, Ryan, and look behind you. What do you see?
Can't see much. It's too bushy.
This is classic terrain that bear attacks occur in. When it's really, your sight lines are obscured, you can't see past some kind of obstruction, whether it's bushes or rocks or trees. Bears can't see you coming.
Okay.
Bears react when they feel threatened by something, so it's really important. You may have noticed how much I was yelling there as I was coming through. It's a lot more frequently than I normally do.
Yeah.
That lets really make sure that the bears know you're coming. And that gives them a chance to back away from the situation.
What happens when you come out and encounter, like, the biggest grizzly you've ever seen standing right there?
Well, it's always got to be the biggest grizzly, isn't it?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
First thing you want to do, hold on to each other. Make sure nobody runs.
All right.
Then, nothing. Let the bear decide. It's really, a bear's a much bigger animal than you are, much faster. Let him decide what to do. A bear just wants to get out of a situation with people.
Okay.
If he feels threatened, hopefully he's just going to wander away. And 99% of the time, that's what will happen.
But what if he decides to come at you? What do you do?
Again, that's extremely rare, but if a bear feels threatened and comes at you, what I carry with me just for a last-ditch defense, this is something called bear spray or pepper. It's like pepper spray police use, except it's a little more concentrated, actually a lot more concentrated. It'll stop a bear in its tracks.
Okay.
It gives you the chance to back away from that situation. But so it's a cure as opposed to prevention, but it's not a good cure because it doesn't go far. It's maybe 15 to 30 feet.
Okay.
Depending on the wind, it won't go far, but it gives you a chance to get out.
Okay. So the key to what we're doing here is just when we come through a situation like this, just make a lot of noise.
Make noise. Let the bear know you're coming.
Okay. Hey-ho! Hey-ho! Hey-ho!
Here's another subtle sign of bears in the forest, usually quite hard to see. See this little circular depression here?
Oh, yeah.
Not much to it, really, but this is what we call a daybed.
Okay.
Bears will go and scoop themselves out a little place to go and rest in the afternoons, in the heat of the afternoon, or even in the evenings. We also call them belly beds, because the same way, in the fall when they're feeding on salmon, they're just gorging themselves the same way we do on the Chinese buffet line.
Oh, yeah.
So they just got the big distended belly, and they like a place to rest it so they can sleep more comfortably.
Sure, why not?
Now, this is just small. It's a tiny bear. Probably a cub. Check behind you here. There's a couple more.
Oh, yeah, there's a big one down here.
Yeah, this is probably Mom. This will be Mom. This will be another cub, and that'll be probably her second cub. So she's chosen a place where it's a nice open forest behind her so she can see and hear things approaching, and nothing really can approach her from the bottom, but she's got a great view.
What's that over there?
That's our tree stand. That's where we go and watch the bears when they're catching the salmon in the fall.
Something tells me while you're watching them, they're watching you, too.
It's kind of an odd feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go and check it out.
Okay.
Hey, no!
Wow, look at these trees. They're terrific.
Beautiful, aren't they? How about a close look here?
Love this moss.
Totally different from the other forests we've been through, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
This is a little patch of old growth that's still left behind from the logging days. You can see it's just filled with life. There's greenery everywhere.
How does it grow up here?
There's actually, one of the key differences is that there's a little soil, that little layer of soil that grows here on top of all these branches. As the forest gets older and older, soil builds up. There's up to about a ton of soil in an acre.
You're kidding.
Up in the branches, that's the stuff up here growing. And it just provides all kinds of habitat for different animals. This is a really, really rich ecosystem. Here at Knight Inlet, we're right on the start of what we call the Great Bear Rainforest. And from this point, we have a few valleys here that haven't yet been cut by industrial loggers. It means we have intact ecosystems. From this point north, you start finding more and more and more of them. And that's key to the survival of the grizzly bear. They need that kind of untouched wilderness for them to survive.
Stuff looks great, too.
It's gorgeous. It makes for a really nice scene out here. Have a look.
All right. Did you see any bear out there?
Not a thing. Looks like they've all gotten out of the rain.
Smart bears.
Oh, you bet.
You mentioned something about bear survival. Is the grizzly bear an endangered species?
Well, it's considered endangered in the States. There used to be bears that had stretched all the way down to central Mexico. And now all that's left in the States are a few remnant populations around Yellowstone and the Bob Marshall Wilderness area. San Fernando Valley used to have the highest concentration of grizzly bears in the world.
Oh, yeah, that's right. California is known as the bear state.
Yeah, but they don't have any great bear left.
Oh, that's right.
It's just black bears there now. Even in Canada, the bears have been squished into the mountainous regions. We think of them as mountain bears, but in reality, they used to live right out into the prairies as well. Now, where we live, bears generally don't. They need huge tracts of wilderness that doesn't have logging and mining. They need old growth forests, intact ecosystems. There are ways that people can live with bears, though, and there are a few communities that are actually proving that, living in areas that have grizzly bears, and they've done things like some good planning, really simple things like getting bear-proof garbage cans and having fences on highways and creating corridors around their town so as the town expands, they can actually leave places where the bears can move through, and not just bears but other wildlife as well. That way, genetically, they can keep communicating with each other. They can pass their genes on and they don't become inbred.
Sure. Simple things, a little planning.
Yeah, but it takes some good effort by us to do it.
So what do you think? Grab some rain gear and move on?
Yeah, let's head into the forest.
All right. What are you looking for, Pete?
Well, we're on a bear trail, and I was hoping with the rain that we'd see some tracks, but found something a little better here.
Oh, yeah?
This is what we call a stomp trail.
Stomp trail? What's that?
bears will wander along and they'll stomp their foot down and twist it, and stomp and twist and stomp and twist. And they create a series of depressions rather than a regular trail. It's a series of footprints.
Why would a bear do that?
Well, it's kind of that aggression thing again.
Oh, yeah?
They're marking their train, letting other bears, they know they're here. They'll walk along and they'll scent it as they do it.
So how do you tell the difference between a grizzly bear stomp trail and a black bear?
Black bears generally don't do stomp trails.
Oh, yeah?
But if you see the tracks, it gets pretty obvious because they have quite a different claw.
Yeah?
Black bear claw is made for climbing. It's a lot short curved.
Oh.
Here's one.
Wow, look at that.
See how pointed that is. Compare that with a grizzly bear claw. A little bit bigger.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shovel, it's a digging claw, so it's dull on the end,
Yeah.
but it's much, much longer. So it's pretty obvious when you see that in the track.
Yeah, it doesn't do a bad job on bark either. Look at this rub tree.
Good eye, you're picking them up.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Here's the bear den.
This is a bear den?
Not what you're expecting?
No, not at all. I thought it'd be like a rock cave or something like that.
One of the common myths about bears. They generally dig their own dens, and they'll do it normally it's in a steep hillside, and they're just right into the dirt. Here what he's done, he's gone and clawed his way in like this, and he's gone and put it inside an old cedar tree. Judging from the size, I'd say this isn't a really big bear because I can just barely get in here. There you go.
I don't know, still somebody I wouldn't want to run into.
No, he wouldn't want to pop in here when he's sleeping. Now, this really brings together a lot of the concepts we've been talking about because a bear spends 5 to 6 months of his year here. It's where he starts and finishes every year. And that's what drives him to find his food so much. He's got to build up the fat reserves it takes to survive the winter sleeping when he can't eat.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's not really a real hibernation. It's just a deep sleep. So, if you were to walk in on him, you'd wake him up.
I don't think I'd want to do that.
No, probably not.
Speaking of dens, how about we go find ours?
Sure, we don't want to miss dinner.
Yeah. So where are we off to today, Chief?
Right into the back of the estuary. This is where the grizzly bears normally hang out.
Yeah.
This is what attracts the bears down here in the springtime. This is all lingy sedge. Right now, they're not as keen on being here.
Oh, yeah.
It's not as big and attractive because of all the berries.
I see. So, speaking of bears, where are the bears?
Well, they're like any wildlife. They're harder to see. You have to put the time in and sit and watch. So I think what we might do is head on up now that the tide's coming up. We'll go up the estuary a little further right into the river, and they're sometimes around there because that's where the berries are.
Okay. As humans push further and further into bear country, the challenges and dangers facing these creatures increase dramatically. It's their intelligence, the very asset they've used to perpetuate their existence for millennia, that has proven to be a major factor in their undoing. The bear's best chance for survival is in our understanding them and their place in this world. I'd like to thank Peter Swain for guiding me on a breathtaking adventure. No doubt an experience of a lifetime for me. We're going to keep looking for bears here, but we'll see you on the next Trailside. Just because you're surrounded by dirt when camping doesn't mean you have to be covered in it. When washing your hands and dishes, always stay at least 200 feet away from any body of water and use biodegradable soaps. If there are trash cans, use them. If not, carry a heavy gauge plastic bag with you so that you can pack out what you pack in.
To order home videos of this or any other Trailside program, or to order a Trailside guidebook, call 1-800-TRAILSIDE.